Manchester City has won title after title, but today they are being nerfed. The punishment has been set and it is as follows. Although Manchester City is avoiding the punishment of relegation from the Premier League, they are not allowed to make any transfers for 10 full seasons. No, seriously, even if Manchester City wanted to cheat and make some backroom deals, they physically cannot because they are under a 10-year transfer embargo. Oh, but that's not all. Manchester City is also not allowed to re-sign any players or renew any contracts. So whenever a current player's contract runs out, they just become a free agent. The only area where Manchester City is allowed to spend any money is on their youth scouts. This at least gives Manchester City an opportunity to recruit some new players for the next 10 seasons. It's their only hope of staying up in the Premier League and continuing being as dominant as they have been. But those youth scouts, they better work fast and find Manchester City some top quality prospects, because after the first season, Man City will be without Scott Carson, Kevin De Bruyne, Sissoko, and Ilkay Gundogan. All four of their contracts are expiring and they won't be able to re-sign them. And after the second season, it'll get even worse for Manchester City because they will have to part ways with Katongo, Kaiki. Those are both prospects. Kuto will be leaving. Kabore will not be there. And Dala, Wright, first team players like McAtee, who's on the come up, Kyle Walker, Ortega, John Stones, Bernardo Silva, and even Ederson. But I think after the third season, Manchester City will be hit the hardest because there will be no more Jack Grealish, no more Rodri, no more Erling Haaland, no more Phil Foden, Nathan Ake, Mateo Kovacic, or Manuel Akanji and Ruben Diaz. Even prospects like Mbete, Doyle, and Burns, they will all be gone. Can Pep Guardiola really keep Manchester City at the top of the football pyramid with these tough sanctions? We're just gonna have to wait and see as the seasons progress. Halfway through the first season, and Man City is actually in 5th place in the Premier League. 8, 7, and 4 on 31 points, a whole 7 points behind a surprising Manchester United. Yeah, they're in 1st place. So Manchester City, if they want to win any kind of trophies with the regular players that are still at the club, they better get their act together. But in the Champions League, they are playing pretty well. 4-1-1 after 6 of 8 matches played, 13 points. They could finish 1st still. While City's youth academy in the first 6 months is actually full and thriving. It's quite insane how many high potential players their 3 scouts have found. Like this guy right here, Aiden French, potential 85 to 94, 16 years old. He is only 56 overall though. But literally every player in City's youth academy has a potential of at least 80, sometimes even 90. Schroeder, 94 potential. Hansen, 78 to 94. Marvin Kaiser from Germany, 74 to 94. All of these players might be the future of Manchester City in a few years. Well, the first season with Manchester City's transfer embargo has come to an end, guys. 38 matches have been played in the Premier League and Manchester City finished in 7th. 19, 10, and 9 on 67 points. Somehow, someway, it was Newcastle United that won the league, tied with Liverpool, but Liverpool finished 2nd. Manchester United dropped to 3rd. It was such a close race. Spurs in 4th, and Arsenal finished in 5th. While relegated, it was Ipswich Town, it was Everton, and it was Bournemouth. Why is Bournemouth always getting relegated, man? In every career mode. At the start of the season, Manchester City did lose the FA Community Shield to Manchester United on penalties, but they did manage to win the FA Cup over a surprising finalist in Luton Town. And even more surprises in the Carabao Cup. It was Charlton Athletic that won the Carabao Cup 2-1 over Liverpool. We got Charlton Athletic winning trophies in FC25. Now, what about the big one for Pep Guardiola in season 1 with the transfer embargo, the Champions League? Well, in the Champions League, Manchester City actually went out in the quarterfinals to Bayern Munich on penalties. But then Harry Kane stayed cursed. He went to the final of the Champions League and lost it to Arsenal 1-0. The Europa League was won by Athletic Club Bilbao 2-1 over Lazio. While the Conference League, it was probably expected, it was won by Chelsea 2-1 over Sparta Praha. Erling Haaland did win the Golden Boot in the Premier League though. He scored 28 goals in 38 appearances, followed by Son and a very surprising Gabby Martinelli. Now, what about City's academy at the end of the season? A lot of players have grown, but they're still not good enough to be in the first team. There's already a few players in the 60s and several others that are in the high 50s with incredible potential. But don't forget that Gundogan, Carson, Kevin De Bruyne, and Sissoko, they are all gone in a month and not returning. And going into the following season, this is not what Manchester City needs to see. The Athletic tweeting about Martin Odegaard lifting the Champions League and Mikel Arteta celebrating. Pep is probably pissed. Start of the second season, there goes Kevin De Bruyne, bye-bye. And in the second season, the 3 Manchester City scouts have different assignments. Mr. Ingram is off to Argentina to find the next Emi Martinez, while Rubial is off to Norway to hopefully find the next Erling Haaland. Halfway through season 2, and the scouts found a few players in Norway and in Turkey. Frederick Hagen, 61 overall. Ramazan Kaya, a holding defensive midfielder from Turkey, 77 to 94 potential. So now one of the scouts is off to Egypt to try and find the new Mohamed Salah, and the other one is off to Portugal to hopefully find a replacement for Bernardo Silva or the new Cristiano Ronaldo. While Ingram's journey in Argentina to find a new goalkeeper, it's really not going well at all. Look at these findings. Those guys are all so terrible. The second season is over for Manchester City, and they managed to climb up to 3rd place. They didn't win the Prem, but they achieved a very high finish, with Arsenal winning the league and Manchester United coming in 2nd place. While going down to the championship in season 2, it was Leicester City, it was Leeds United, and promoted Burnley. Leeds and Burnley both came up, and they went right back down. Also, Luton Town came back up, and they stayed up. The FA Community Shield was won by Manchester City 4-1 over Newcastle to start the year, so they did manage to win a trophy. While the FA Cup, it went to Liverpool over Newcastle on penalties. The Carabao Cup in season 2 was won by Aston Villa over Manchester City. They went to the final, but they lost it. Real Madrid won the Champions League, no surprises there, over Dortmund, probably no surprises there. And Man City did not participate in the Champions League, but they did participate in the Europa League, which they won. And the Conference League in season 2, it was won by Ghent over Real Sociedad. What a final! And with the youth prospects, there is some hope for Manchester City, because they managed to find Kareem Abdullah in Egypt, 64 overall, 78 to 92 potential. And another midfielder, Nasir Hassan, who is already 60 rated with 77 to 94 potential. And yeah, in season 3, things are going to be extremely difficult for Manchester City, because look at all the players that are leaving Man City in 1 month's time. No John Stones, no Bernardo Silva, no Ederson, Couto, or Kyle Walker. This is going to be a massive wake-up call. A lot of those youth prospects, they're going to be part of the first team. Oh boy, the downfall has begun. There goes Ederson. Pep is walking him out. To find a replacement for Ederson, Clark is going to Brazil to try and find a goalkeeper. Ingram is off to Germany to find a goalkeeper, and Rubial is off to Nigeria to try and find a goalkeeper. And the scouts have found a few promising goalkeepers, but unfortunately, one of them has to be promoted to the senior team because there's no other goalkeeper available. So the Brazilian Carlos Fernandes, who's 55 overall, he is getting promoted to the senior team. He does have decent potential, 65 to 87. He's going to be starting for Manchester City now. And this is what the squad looks like. Yeah, it's still pretty stacked, but the bench is a little bit low. And as you can see, some of the youth prospects are starting to make the bench now. And Manchester City has several of the youth prospects in the reserves as well. We're halfway through the 3rd season. It's January 1st, and this goalkeeping situation for Manchester City, it's been a nightmare for them, because they're in 19th, 2, 7, and 10. They've allowed 34 goals, and they're only on 13 points. While in the academy, a few other goalkeepers have been found, specifically this guy, Kleber Borges from Brazil, but still, he's only 54 overall. But he's got to go up to the first team as well, because there's only one goalkeeper in the first team. So Kleber Borges is getting promoted. It is the end of season 3, and oh boy, the downfall has been completed. Manchester City are relegated. 5, 14, and 19 on 29 points, and everyone is leaving. Everyone in that starting 11 is going to be gone. Chelsea actually managed to win the league over Spurs, Aston Villa, and Arsenal in 4th, while the FA Cup was won by Arsenal over Liverpool on penalties, and the Carabao Cup was won by Spurs over Liverpool. The Super Cup at the start of the season, it was won by Manchester City, though. They still managed to win a trophy over Real Madrid on pens, while the Champions League in season 3 was won by Inter Milan over PSG 3-1. The Europa League went to Roma over Napoli in all-Italian final, and the Conference League, it went to Chelsea. They did the double. They won the Prem and the Conference League 2-1 over Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, this is the scariest part going into season 4 for Manchester City. Grealish is gone, Diaz is gone, Akanji will be gone, Mbete will be gone, Wilson Esbrand is gone, Rodri will be gone, Burns is gone, Foden is gone, Holland is gone, Brecklin is gone, Doyle is gone, Nathan Ake is gone, and Kovacic. Yeah, Kovacic is gone too. And yeah, oh boy, the academy is looking bare. Nasir Hassan, though, I think he's getting promoted for season 4 to the first team. This is getting scary for Manchester City. Erling Haaland is saying goodbye, plus like 20 other players. This is what Manchester City looks like at the start of season 4. Savinho is still here, Doku is still here, Oscar Bob is still here, Mateus Nunes is still here, Perone is here, Phillips is here, Lewis is here, and Gvardiol is here. That's it. French is the new starting left back, Kaya is a midfielder, 57 rated Fernandez is a nets, while the bench and the reserves, except for Echeverry and O'Reilly, it is all youth prospects. I mean, to be fair, the future could be bright, but it may take a while for City to get back up to that level. And so the Manchester City scouts for season 4 embark on a new journey. Clark is going to Italy to find a defender. Ingram is off to France to find some sort of striker, maybe a Kylian Mbappe, while Rubial, he's off to Colombia to hopefully find a Luis Diaz, a winger, advanced forward, inside forward, any kind of attacking player. Well, the scouts came back and they did manage to find a few decent players for Manchester City's youth academy. From France, specifically this guy, Hadrian Briand, he's 61 overall, right-wing striker, 82 potential, pretty decent. And also this decent Italian center back, Pierre Abate, 75 to 94 potential, 53 rated though. Well, it's halfway through the season in the championship. In season 4, 26 matches have been played, and Manchester City are sitting comfortably in 17th, 9, 6, and 11 on 33 points. I don't think they're going to be getting promoted this season, but the youth scouts did find some more players for Manchester City, specifically this guy, Marcos Ortiz, 79 to 94 potential at 17 years of age, and he's already 61 rated. The season for Manchester City is over, guys. A pretty respectable season, not gonna lie to you. 16, 12, and 18, 60 points. They didn't get relegated to League 1, but they didn't get promoted either, so they're stuck in the championship for season 5. But the players are growing. Kaya is now 69 overall. The left back, French, is 68. And the academy's shown some promise as well. Ceballos is growing, Kaiser is growing, this Nathan Masson right winger from France is growing as well. Abate is going to be 79 to 85 potential. I'm really excited about this guy though. Ludwig Fischer, 67 overall German. He's been at the club for a while. He played 18 matches in the championship, scored 7 goals, and provided 2 assists. But Rico Lewis, Calvin Phillips, Gvardiol, Perone, Nunez, Doku, and Echeverry and O'Reilly, they are all leaving. Even this other guy, Nicholas Becker, he's also been at the club for a while, but he also wants to leave. He doesn't want to be at the club anymore. Only Oscar Bob and Savinho remain, guys. That's it. There's no one else left. The scouts are off on a little North American tour in season 5. 1 to Canada, 1 to USA, and 1 to Mexico. The youth squad is filled back up again, guys, because the scouts found a few players in North America. Isaac Clark, right back, center back, left midfielder. He can play anywhere. 61 overall, 75 to 81 potential at 71 years old. But what about this guy? Raul Vega from Mexico, cam, right-wing striker, 73 to 89 potential, 61 rated. This guy can probably go into the first team. Also, Hunter Bell, right back, left back, 78 to 94 potential, 60 overall. But it's definitely not looking like a super squad in season 5 in the championship halfway through for Manchester City, because after 26 matches, they're actually in a relegation spot. 6-3 and 17. They've conceded 55 goals. My goodness, that is horrendous defending. I guess you can't rely on Oscar Bob and Savinho too much, but everybody else is growing, guys. Like, these players are growing. French is 70 overall now. The goalkeeper, Borges, he's 64 now. Kaya is 71. The season in the championship is over, and yeah, Manchester City collapsed, guys. They couldn't hold on in the championship. It just wasn't possible. 6, 9, and 31. They've allowed 98 goals. The defending for Manchester City is the problem on 27 points. The collapse is real. They're off to League 1 for season 6. This is I did not expect this to happen. The FA Cup was won by Arsenal 2-1 over Liverpool, while the Carabao Cup was won by Spurs over Chelsea. Liverpool did win the Champions League though, 1-0 over Napoli, while Newcastle United won the Europa League over Bayern Munich. And the Conference League was won by West Ham United over Estoril. What kind of final is that? While the Premier League, guys, Chelsea were crowned champions once again, miles ahead of anybody. Spurs in second, Newcastle in third, Arsenal in fourth once again. Forest finished in sixth. What a surprise. And Wolves in eighth. Listen, the squad is pretty decent, but we're not going to have Savinho anymore. Morales did have 11 goals and 10 assists, though. That is very, very promising. Hassan also had a pretty decent season, and so did Fisher. But yeah, like I said, Oscar, Bob, and Savinho, they're leaving. That's the end. That's it. As you can see, there is no one else remaining from the original Manchester City squad. Say goodbye to Savinho. Say goodbye to Oscar, Bob, guys. This is the squad in League One, guys. What do you think? The back line, I mean, it's looking pretty decent. French, Kaya, he's injured, 70 rated. He'll be healthy. Abdullah, Morales, 72 overall. Peltier, 61 rated striker. Hansen, though, 66. Fisher is now 69. Clark, the Canadian, we had to call him up. We have no right backs, no center backs at the club. We had to call him up. He's 62 rated. Abate is still here. Ricci, the Italian duo, and Borges is 65. And the bench is also, I mean, it's looking promising, guys. I assure you, we're gonna try and get Manchester City back to the Premier League. I don't know if it's gonna happen. And going into season 6, guys, Pep Guardiola is quite tired of this Manchester City rebuild. He's seen them win Champions League, FA Cups, and Premier Leagues to now competing in League One. So he's sending out his scouts to wherever he can find any kind of player. Clark is off to Georgia, Ingram is off to Morocco, and Rubial is off to India to find a goalkeeper. Why not? Guys, our scouts have found some gems, specifically from Morocco. Jamal Hassan, 62 overall, 72 to 94 potential. What about from Georgia? Lazar Masuradze, 57 overall, 69 to 94 potential. Halfway through the season in League One, and Manchester City with Pep is battling relegation. 5, 9, and 11, 28 goals for, 32 against on 24 points. To be fair, the goal difference is only a -4 goal difference, so we've probably been hard done by a little bit in our results. We're definitely a better team on paper. We have some 70s and even a 73. French has gone up so much, and our academy is flourishing once again. Look at this guy from Georgia, Toma Alievi, 64 overall, 64 to 75 potential. He's got to get called up to the first team ASAP. We even found an Indian 6'8" goalkeeper. Yes, at 17 years old, this dude is 6'8". Look at the size of his arms, but he's only 48 rated. Prashanta Ahmed. Oh, but there is even more. Valerian Bayramov, another Georgian. The Georgians are taking over Manchester City. Can play central midfield and center back. 5'7" at 16 years of age. 63 overall already. 65 to 85 potential. Welcome to the senior squad, Valerian. Well, the season in League One is over. Season 6, Manchester City, they avoided relegation by the skin of their teeth. 17 draws, 19 losses, 47 points. To be fair, they probably deserve to stay up. The FA Cup was won by Spurs 2-1 over West Ham, while the Carabao Cup was won by Chelsea this time around over Brentford 3-0. And look at that, PSG finally won a Champions League 3-2 over AC Milan, while the Europa League had an all-English final 3-1 to Arsenal over Manchester United. And the Conference League, well, wow, this is just getting weirder and weirder, isn't it? Legia Warszawa won the Conference League 3-2 over Villarreal. Oh, the Premier League without Manchester City being around, huh? Spurs. Yeah, Spurs won the Premier League too. Over Aston Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal in 4th. Once again, Newcastle in 5th, Man United in 5th, 7th went to Brighton, and Chelsea fell off all the way down to 8th. It was Ludwig Fischer that led the way with 18 goals and 6 assists. Nasir Hassan from Egypt, though, 8 and 2. And Toma Alievi, the new promoted Georgian midfielder, he had 7 goals and 3 assists. Slowly but surely, the Manchester City squad is growing, and it is becoming world class. At the start of season 7, as Manchester City is still in League One, the scouts are going to Australia, to Iran, and to Japan. Clark, Ingram, and Rubal, they've become world travelers at this point. Halfway through season 7 in January, guys, and Manchester City with Pep, they're in 10th place. 9, 9, and 6 on 36 points, pushing for hopefully a promotion playoff spot. Ludwig Fischer keeps on cooking, and David Peltier is starting to cook. 8 goals and 3 assists in 28 appearances. We're gonna find out if maybe Manchester City in season 7, after not making any transfers, can finally get back up to at least the championship. Okay, season 7 is over for Manchester City. Charlton Athletic automatically promoted on 102 points. Portsmouth promoted. Blackpool, Peterborough, Oxford United, and Barnsley go into the playoffs. Manchester City with Pep Guardiola just miss out on 71 points by a single point. That is extremely disappointing for Manchester City standards, but at least the progress is going this way instead of this way. Fischer and Peltier were on fire all season. 19 goals and 7 assists, 15 goals and 4 assists for Peltier. And look how much this squad has grown. 68 Hansen, 66 Peltier, Fischer is 71, Morales, Kaya, and Abdullah. What a midfield. 74, 72, and 69. The back line of Clark, Abate, Ricci, and French is 75 rated, and Borges has gone up to 69. Like, this entire squad, including the substitutes and the reserve, can be absolute class going forward for years to come, but it has taken 7 full years to get here. And for the start of the next season, we're actually going to switch up the formation a little bit for this Manchester City squad, just because it fits the players that are on the team a little bit more. 4-3-3 holding. By the way, guys, Manchester City has probably the largest wage bill I've ever seen for a League One team in League One history. Ludwig Fischer is on £39,000 a week. Kaya is on 37. Abdullah is on 36. French is on 35. The contracts have to be renewed. The players want to get paid to stay at Man City. As we go through season 8, we made the decision that we don't need to send any more scouts anywhere else because there's just not enough time left to develop anybody. Manchester City has all the players that they need. They just have to develop the ones that have been thriving for the next couple of years to see if they can get back up to the Premier League. The season for Manchester City is over. This is becoming impossible, guys. Manchester City couldn't get promoted once again. Do we even do 2 more seasons, guys? Like, what are we doing here? I refuse to believe that this squad can't get out of League One. Everybody's scoring goals. Toma Alievi, the Georgian 19-year-old, 71 rated, 17 goals, 8 assists. Morales, 15 and 3. Peltier, 14 and 8. Fischer was in double digits, and we still cannot get promoted. The FA Cup in season 8 was won by Everton over Brighton 2-0, while the Carabao Cup, it went to Liverpool over West Ham. The Champions League, it went to Germany, but a surprising finalist in Sporting from Portugal. Victor Gyökeres, anyone? The Europa League was won by Inter Milan over Napoli in all-Italian final, while the Conference League also went to an Italian club in Roma over AZ Alkmaar. And the Premier League in season 8, it went to Liverpool. Arsenal in 2nd, Chelsea in 3rd, Spurs in 4th, Brentford up in 5th place. Brentford ahead of Manchester United somehow. That is outrageous. And relegated Southampton, Bristol City, Ipswich Town. Season 9 in League One with Manchester City not being able to make any transfers is over, and oh my gosh, we have a breakthrough. Manchester City, top of the table in League One. 26, 15, and 5 on 93 points. Man City and Pep Guardiola, they are going back up to the championship. This is a revelation. Toma Alievi, David Peltier, we had Jamal Hassan and Kareem Abdullah all contribute with goals in double digits. Especially Peltier. What a massive season. 18 goals and 14 assists. The squad is looking like this. Everyone has grown, but the question is, there's only 1 season left and Manchester City is in the championship. Can they get back up to the Premier League? Season 10, the end of it. Manchester City in the championship. They did not get promoted, guys, but they did not get relegated either. They finished in a respectable 20th. 11, 13, and 22 on 46 points. The FA Cup was won by Arsenal in season 10 over Aston Villa, while the Carabao Cup was won by Spurs over Everton. The Champions League, it went to Juventus actually in season 10, 1-0 over Barca, and the Europa League went to Roma 3-2 over Frankfurt. While finally Finally, the Conference League. Real Betis from Spain, 3-1 over FCSB from Romania. While the Premier League in Season 10, it went to Arsenal. Liverpool in second, Crystal Palace in third, Brighton in fourth, Wolves in fifth, Bournemouth in sixth. Let's go. Newcastle in seventh, Chelsea in eighth. Where's Manchester United? All the way down in 14th. What is going on there? Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester City all relegated. And if we were going to have a season 11, 12, 13, 14, and maybe even 15, I do feel like this squad would perform well and would eventually get promoted. Peltier went up to a 74. The midfield of Alievi, Kaya, and Morales, 76 and 74. French is up to a 78. Ricci and Abate, 73 and 75. Clark is a 74. Borges as the starting goalkeeper is 73. And the bench is also very respectable, plus the reserves as well. But ultimately, in 10 seasons with Manchester City not being able to make any transfers, they became more or less a mid-table championship side or a really high-end League One side. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me and the subscribe button as well. This video actually took me forever to make. It took me an entire day to record this video. Not gonna lie to you, probably like 8 to 10 hours. So I would really appreciate it if you guys hit the like button and the subscribe button for me. If you have any other cool ideas that you want to see on the channel, comment them down below. Otherwise, we'll leave it at that. Pep Guardiola managing Manchester City without any transfers. They couldn't get back to their winning ways, could they? Peace, 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 peace.